Hey everyone, I'm Xixi Yang here on the set of Fox's new TV show Rosewood, sitting next to the lovely Lorraine. How are you?
I'm well. Good to meet you.
You look amazing. Thank you so much for taking time from your busy schedule in the morning to come chat with us. Now, what was it about the show that made you really want to get involved?
Morris Chestnut, he's lovely. I've heard wonderful things about him. Obviously, I've been a fan of his for many years. He's such a lovely actor, but I've also heard just lovely things about him as a person. And so, at this point in my career, I'm always far more interested in working with good people, good humans, and the fact that he's so talented and so wonderful. That was a no-brainer. So, and then Todd Harthan described the role that he was going to write for me, and so this is a character I think I'd not played yet in my career. She's in many ways just a woman, and having said that, you know, it's when women say I'm just a mom. That's such a big. Those are such big shoes to fill, to be just a woman. She's a woman in the middle of her life, in the midst of an identity crisis. She's retiring. She's possibly suing for divorce. She's a bit lost. She is a fierce, loving mama. She is a woman who has devoted her life to her children in many ways. She's also a career woman. She was so multifaceted, and sometimes at odds with herself, as many of us as women are. To get a chance to play that kind of subtle strength and vulnerability and passion and fearfulness and strength to. It was, she seemed to be a really interesting character. So I jumped at that.
Oh, I love it. She seems to have a little bit of every woman, right? Now, I was actually on the phone with my mom last week, had a great conversation with her, but towards the end, she was like, you know, I wish you call me more because I feel like you don't need me anymore in your life, right? And that's definitely something your character is experiencing. Have you brought any experiences, because you're a mom, from your real life into your character?
I'm sure I have. You know, I don't compartmentalize my life and my work. My life always feeds my work. I don't even think about it. So yes, I certainly know what it's like to be a mother, and cherish the moments when my daughter still wants to be mommied. You know, it's always a push-pull. And certainly the Donna character, I've raised my children, and in many ways my career took me away from them. And now she's back wanting to get those years back. And we all know that that's impossible. Her children don't need her in that way anymore. But what's really lovely is that they learn that they may actually need her in another way. And so that's a lovely journey for me and for them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Morris Chestnut plays your son, and his character is going through some of the crises as well, because he finds out that he only has about a decade left to live. Just knowing that you have a deadline, knowing that nothing in this life is forever, how do you think that perspective changes one's opinions on life and career?
I thought about this. You know, what do you do when you know the clock is really ticking? He's a character who lives as if this were the last day of his life, because it very well might be. I would think that, well, as we see with him, it gives him a great deal of freedom. I think there's no point in telling a lie, because you don't have the time for lies. You don't have time to waste. And yet still the dynamic between his character and my character's mom, he's outrunning death. He's trying to outrun death, but in the process isn't necessarily living.
Wow. Okay.
Because it takes the ultimate courage to live, really live, in this moment without looking at the next moment. And so I keep pushing him, knowing that he is going to die. I keep pushing him to live.
Wow, that's beautiful. I'm getting goosebumps right now. And has there ever been a moment in your acting career where you thought to yourself, you know what, instead of going after number of roles I'm booking, like trying to get jobs after jobs, I'm just going to live. I'm going to live, pick projects I want to do, and just really focus on that instead of looking at it like numbers. Because I know in the beginning for a lot of actors' careers, when they first start out, it was all about booking jobs and making a living.
Oh, sure. I mean, when my daughter was born, I fell so head over heels in love with her. I wasn't prepared for that. Fall down the rabbit hole, and I just didn't work for 3 years. Wow. I just had no interest in, I didn't want to miss a moment. Mm-hmm. And so I took 3 years off and went broke. And then I went, honey, mommy has to go back to work now.
Mommy has to feed you.
You know, and so I then, you know, strapped her on my back and set up a desk in my dressing room because, you know, there's always the balance. You've got to create some sort of balance, and we are working girls. So, yeah, I have a great life. I have a very full and big, really big life. Apart from what I do, apart from this career, which is just a lovely part of my life, but it's just a part of it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. And I definitely want to talk to you for a little bit about the changing landscape of network television, right? This show is very progressive. Morris Chestnut plays a male lead. He's an African-American actor. And also there are lesbians on the show. Very progressive. Yeah, right?
There are lesbians on this show?
Yes, lesbian characters.
Oh.
What do you think about the change in television, especially for network TV?
It's a welcome change. It's, you know, network TV is always the last to catch up with the changes in the world and the ways in which we've advanced. And one of the ways is that the changing face of family. And more importantly, this show addresses the new face of family within the Black community. And we tend to be, as a community, generally speaking, still a very homophobic community. And so I am very proud to be a harbinger of change, because the power of this medium is that we get to change minds and change hearts. And if in any small way we get to do that, certainly with my lesbian daughter and her fiancé, as then great, because, you know, it's time to out our community. We've played this silly game for far too long.
That's so true.
It's about the love. Let it go.
I love that. And speaking of change, I'm a huge fan of Orange is the New Black, and I really want to change the script and bring you back onto the show. So let's say a couple of weeks from now on, your phone rings, ding, ding, and it's Xixi on the line. She wants to bring you back on, maybe for like a flashback scene or something in one of the episodes. Would you want to go back?
You know, I love me some V. I've put V to sleep. V is sleeping. She is. Do we really want to awaken V? You know, because she's gonna wake up mad.
What a departure from this character on Rosewood, by the way.
She's gonna be so pissed off when she wakes up and realizes that she's been hit by a van. Right? Spoiler. Oh. And so that would be a very interesting dilemma. Let me put it that way.
Okay. And lastly, whenever you finish a character, whether it be a TV show or a film, do you always feel like you'll always have a piece of them inside you, inside your heart, when you move on to the next project? How do you kind of let it go and focus on the next character?
You let it go and focus on the next character. You just let it go. And each one is different, you know. When I did V and had a transition from V, that was an interesting transition because I changed my process to play her. I did something very, 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 very different in the process. And so going into it and so coming out of it was kind of interesting also. That was sort of, I mind bleeped myself in many ways to play her. And so I had to sort of restore certain aspects of the psyche in the right places. I had to sort of restore things. So each role is different. Each role is different. But I don't remember where she lives anymore, you know, and I don't carry them forward particularly. This is such an interesting, unusual woman that I'm playing now. I can't remember what I played a year ago.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much for chatting with us. Always a pleasure.